What up, everybody? This your boy B Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Realms with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcast. If you're a first-time listener, I'd like to thank you oh so much for giving my show a try. And if anybody recommended you to me, go ahead and lead over and give them a crisp high five. But if you're scared of Omicron crime or whatever the fuck they call that variant that we got floating around this bitch now, you may not want to touch hands with nobody. So pick up your social media app of choice. Oh, my screen got fingerprints on this thing. I need to clean that. Pick up your social media app of choice and send them a well-crafted DM telling them thank you for recommending you to me. And speaking of social media, you can find the Random Ramblers with Rob on various social media platforms to include Twitter at 3R Show, Instagram at The 3R Show. And if you want a whole bunch of wrestling talk, you can catch me on Wrestling is Trash or Wednesday nights after AEW Dynamite on RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk. Every Wednesday we go live after the show. And shit, I got a lot of other things that I can plug too, but for everything that I forgot to mention, you can go to randomrob.com, to where you can find all different types of ways to support the show, buy merchandise, or you can check out the sponsor, Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. Get 15% off your order if you use promo code RANDOM. You can probably get a cool hat like I got over here in the corner on my luchador mask. But if you're not watching the video, I guess that observation is mute. Anyway, got a guest with me today. Reached out to me across the World Wide Web from across the world proper. So, yeah, joining me is Phil. Look, I pointed the right way too on the camera.
Nice.
The Blerd Explorer. How you doing there, Phil?
How you doing? Thank you for having me on.
Word. So, I mean, we got a couple things to talk about, man. You got books out,
Sure.
and one thing that perplexed me is you's a brother,
Yep.
but you way over in Korea and shit. So I'm like, are you in the military, or you just happen you just
Nah. So for those who don't know, I'm Phil. I go by the Blerd Explorer, Instagram and TikTok. I live in South Korea and I work as an ESL teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I teach English as a second language.
Word. So you speak Korean?
Nah, I can't speak. Nah, like basically, I'm still trying to learn how to read the language.
Okay.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, so Hangul, like Korean, learning how to read Korean is pretty easy.
Okay.
It's just speaking the like many Asian languages, they're very difficult to learn because they don't use the same alphabet, they don't use the same phonics or vocabulary like we do, say, in the Germanic or Roman languages like English or Spanish or whatnot.
Okay. So, I mean, how do you wind up in this situation? How do we get way on that side?
Let's be honest. It was senior year 2015, about to graduate. I needed a job, man. I've been saying that, you know how you do when you about to finish college, try to figure out, okay, I'm going to job fairs, I'm sending out resumes, cover letters, nothing's landing. And then one day I see on my university job board about the idea of teaching English in South Korea. Now, for me, growing up, I always wanted to travel, see the world. Primarily, I always wanted to go to Japan, right? Yeah. But I didn't think it was possible. And the only time, at least for me growing up, like throughout like the late 90s, 2000, whatnot, early 2010s, I never seen or ever heard of a Black person traveling a little abroad who wasn't in the military.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean as an African American in America. Like, I never heard any Black person traveling a little abroad that wasn't military. That wasn't really, that's something you never really heard about back in those days, like you do nowadays.
Word.
And so I looked more into that. I thought, okay, there'd be a good chance to travel, see the world, and also pay off my student loan. So I came to Korea in May 2016. I've been here ever since. And no, I have not paid off my student loans yet. I haven't even started yet.
I don't think nobody is, man. That's gonna be what it is: death, taxes, and student loan debt.
Yep.
3 constants in life. I think I got student loans. I ain't never been to school.
Oh man, how's that impossible?
I don't know, but they'll find a way. They'll find.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we'll pull your name out of some random dude's hat. Okay, Rob, I find $50,000 student loan debt here.
Yes, son of a bitch.
Yep.
So I mean, whoa. So you've been there since 2016.
Yes, sir.
And so, fuck. 2016. Goddamn. So what was it like, touching down that first time in 2016?
Even if you move to another city or state, it's like always that culture shock, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a major culture shock. Now I'm going from the United States, which was like a major diverse melting pot, right, to a country where like 95% of the population, everybody looks the same, dresses the same, has the same hair texture. So it was that, and plus also the fact that I'm a black man in East Asia, so that's been more of a major culture shock. Now I'm getting used to the fact that people are staring at me out of curiosity because again, it's not something that they see every day.
Yeah. And, and I thought it was hilarious too. You talk about just being abroad in a land that is not your own. I seen a couple of pictures on Instagram. One of the funniest ones to me was you standing in the doorway of one of the buildings
Yeah,
and whatnot, and it is just
yeah.
like from here down is all that's visible. You can't even see from your chest up.
I think that was my apartment, but yeah, probably, but yeah.
So I mean, they cater to their people there because it's obviously their country and whatnot. So
Right.
how is it for you? Because I mean, I know the size difference is just
Yeah.
way different
Yeah.
from what it.
Yeah. For the audio viewers, I'm 6'7", 2 meters tall. So yeah, I'm a pretty huge guy. Uh, Now the difference, especially when it comes to Asia, right? I hate stereotyping, but most people in Asian cultures, they're not very tall, right? Now nowadays, you're seeing a lot more taller Korean men and some cases some women, right?
Mhm.
But again, most of the culture, the housing, especially my current apartment where I'm staying at, it was designed for somebody who's short, like from average height.
So, so- and I forget where it was, but
Mm.
like that toilet situation is unique over there too. Is just I seen places to where they just damn squat down over a hole and shit.
Yep. Yeah, the squatter toilets, yes. Even when at my current school, I see in one of the toilets had them too. The squatter
Oh.
toilets. I've seen them in and public rest stops too as well. So they're there too. And also, one fact: if you ever go to using a public toilet in Korea, sometimes they have like a little bar of soap on the metal tin thing. So
Hmm.
basically, like you got, which I don't recommend touching at all. Person, just keep your own hand sanitizer.
Oh. So you like, yeah, take a squat and you can wash your ass with this bar of soap right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm like, nah, man, I don't touch that.
Mhm. So you've been there going on about 6 years or about 6 years
Yeah,
now.
about this
I
year. Yeah,
mean,
this year will be
s-
6 years.
word. So I mean, obviously there's some comfortability about being there for so long and whatnot. I mean, what has come to be your favorite thing about being in that region of the world?
Honestly, what kind of kept me going, and this is leading up before Corona happened. Just meeting new people, being able to travel to other countries, and also going to like various video game tournaments that I personally had a chance to go to when I was living in the U.S. Right, like
Mhm,
I went to like the Pokemon VC tournaments.
mhm.
Never had a chance to do them because those type of tournaments they were pretty far away at the time. So obviously I could always make it to those back in the U.S. Right.
Yeah,
Whereas in Korea, it's a small country, so it's easy to make a day trip up to the capital of Seoul and head back home afterwards.
word. So you got two
And
books
also,
out.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention also healthcare and also not worrying about the police.
That's a good one to zing in there real
Yep.
quick. So you got two books
Yes, sir.
for two specific cities or whatever. You want to speak on those real quick?
Yep, sure. My first book is called The Black Traveler's Guide to Incheon, South Korea, which I wrote in 2020. And my second book is The Black Traveler's Guide to Daegu, South Korea, which I wrote in 2021.
Mhm. So it's just specifically for those two cities.
Those two cities, yes, sir.
So it's like, what gave you the epiphany to do something like that?
Well, my content really, what gave me the idea is I wanted to create a black travel space, like content to
Mhm,
show, to provide stories to show that yes, there are other black people, black men who are traveling abroad, who are doing other things, right?
mhm,
And my content is more about kind of fusion of anime, gaming, nerd, and travel content. So some things I enjoy. So I figure why not make them? And plus, uh, main focus reason I made design these two books designed to be for black people. Anybody's welcome to read, of course. Anybody,
yeah, yeah.
it's useful for everybody, right?
Mhm,
But why is and I mentioned both my books. Why is it tailored just to black people only?
mhm,
And it's because when it comes to travel, especially for African Americans, we're pretty new to traveling abroad in general.
mhm.
Because if you think about like during the 2000s, early 2010s, you never heard of or seen any black travel content ever. Nowadays, like between like 2016 up to 2020, and now you're seeing a lot more black travel groups, black travel Instagram people, black travels on YouTube and whatnot. And that was never there before. But we still need more. We're still a pretty small representation. I figured why not create a black travel guide, kind of like somewhat like to the Green Book, but not really necessary, you know?
Okay.
Because if you look at the travel, again, because especially I know most African Americans are kind of afraid to travel to Asia because they're afraid they're going to get stared at. And I kind of want to use the books to ease their mind saying, hey, yes, you will get stared at. All foreigners get stared at, especially black and brown people. It's just because they're not something that they see, they're not used to seeing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of kids, real world examples, there have been times when I had students, when I worked at different schools or different English academies, I was the first black person they interacted with or the first black teacher they ever had.
So being there teaching them English and everything, I mean, I know you have a curriculum that you have to stick to. I mean, you do it's straight down the line. Hey, this is what they need to learn. This is your input.
We got books down. So I do have a textbook that I follow, but I do have that freedom range to do how I want to do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was on asking. I mean, do you put your own flair to it?
Yeah, usually like for my examples, I always use a lot of SpongeBob references of Pokemon because like honestly, SpongeBob is like the most useful education tool ever. It's just so many gifs and memes that just work for all the lessons.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, are you playing any American music out there?
Nah. I ain't gonna try to play hip hop, at least out loud.
Well, I mean, you don't have to play any of the current stuff. I mean, you can get the vintage things.
I don't play it. Usually I have my headphones in, listen to music and stuff. No, true story though. One thing to know, when you're walking around Korea, especially some of the stores and restaurants, you'll be hearing a lot of both mix of K-pop music and also like Western music. So you will hear uncensored hip hop all the time in Korea.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So basically, yes, in 2020, there were stores playing WAP, blasting WAP on the speakers. Yes. Yes.
That would be hilarious or whatever.
It is. I'm pretty sure there are teachers who had like that awkward conversation with the kids, asking the teacher, "What does WAP mean?" I'm glad I didn't have that conversation because I was not ready for. I would not be ready for that.
So are things pretty timely out there? What I mean by that, because like I know I've been to other countries or whatever, military, of course, to where like things that are kind of hip and trendy or whatever kind of don't hit them around the same times or whatever. They usually get there a little bit later and everything. So like music, magazines, and all kinds of things like that are kind of behind.
Yeah. No, they're pretty on top of things, especially there's more international stuff. Like especially the hip hop's very huge over here. Marvel, definitely for sure. Marvel is massive over here. And it's funny, like I talk to my kids all the time about Marvel characters that they see in the MCU. Like they're like looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, who the heck is this guy? I'm like, do you guys know the X-Men? They're Marvel. Like they're the reason for Marvel, really. But yeah. But one thing to know about Korean culture in general, like they're very, how can I say, like social media trendy. Like for example, if there's a new restaurant or cafe that's trending massively in Korea, then not too long after you'll see a bunch of Koreans going to said restaurant or cafe, showing on Instagram, and then they'll die out.
So it's the norm of social media. Then it's just like, oh, this is hot. I'm gonna try it. All right, I'm done.
Yeah,
with this
so I would say like a true story. Yeah, true story. Like this is how powerful social media is in South Korea. For example, from 2016 to about early 2018, I've had students compare me and other black teachers. We've been through this. Like had students compare me to like Oprah, Obama. I look like LeBron James or some type of rapper, right? But when Black Panther came out, literally immediately the following class I had the day, I think it was like the following business day we had classes. I had, even up to now, I had students compare me to Wakanda teacher, Black Panther teacher. And it showed them again, like most Koreans, for example, like when it comes to Africa, like all they see is like the poverty porn, like hungry, starving Africans, right? That's what they see. That's what even my kids, that's not what they seen, right?
Yeah.
So when I showed this black YouTuber called Travel in Truth, who did this little video about the real Africa, like the wealthier, fancier side of Africa, they did not believe me that was Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that shows you how powerful social media influence can be, especially media in Korea is.
Word. So I mean, are you? So when you say your kids and everything, do you
They're
mean
my
you're
students,
teaching
my
like a
students.
your younger group of
Yeah, so
students?
I did in kindergarten, but my main focus is elementary. I do elementary students.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay,
doing right
okay. Word. So I mean, was that the option or was that just what was available?
now. I mean, there's options you can do elementary, middle school, high school, or like the pre-K kindergarten levels. Me personally, I just like messing with elementary. I have like fun goofing off with elementary students,
Word. And I
and of
mean,
course, yeah, and of course, since I like Pokemon, I like to talk to them about that too. And I had students talk like this is during the Nintendo 2DS, 3DS era. I had students talk shit about me, telling me, "Hey, I can beat you in Pokemon battle." I'm like, "All right, bet. Bring a game. We're playing this."
oh, see.
I had to teach them a hard lesson. I had to teach them the hard way.
And see, I mean, and that's good because you're getting them on the ground level, whatever. You got the
Yeah,
younger kids and whatnot, and they're gonna take those lessons with them,
yeah,
as
exactly.
they get older. I was like, yeah, man, I know not to talk shit with these Pokemon battles, baby.
Yeah, so listen, man. Yes, listen. Just because I'm a foreigner doesn't mean I don't know how to play Pokemon. I can smack you. Don't try me. It's funny, just like in real life, yeah, one dude talking trash about you, right? But when you smoke them, it's like then it got real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Word.
what was all the trash talking, huh? What happened?
So you got your I'm sorry, you got your
Yeah,
ranking there on Smash or whatever. I mean, so is it safe to say you're pretty good at that?
yeah, I'm decent, but there are a lot of other powerful players out here over here in Korea, man.
So is there like, because I know you spoke about it earlier about the
Yeah.
tournaments and all kinds of things like that. I mean, how popular is it there compared to the States from what you can recall?
Well, mostly for context, so Korea's always been mostly a PC and mobile gaming country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, they also been known to play for Street Fighter players and Tekken players, for sure. Especially Tekken is massive over here. I'm not gonna even try to bother playing Tekken tournaments over here, man. I'm gonna get smoked.
Word.
But no, at least when it comes like say for Super Smash Brother, for example, right? There wasn't really a scene here. There was no tournaments going on until like the Switch came out when Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. That's when you see
Oh,
more and more Korean and foreign players. That's when you see a lot more tournaments events that happen in Seoul. Like I used to host a tournament back in Daegu up until from 2018 2019. I used to host the tournaments up in Daegu because while Seoul is fun, but it's pretty expensive to travel there on the weekends, like
okay.
for hotel, lodging, whatnot. So it does get a little bit pricey.
Okay. So, I mean, what has become your comfort food there? What's the cuisine like on that side for you?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, the Korean fried chicken, man. I spent way too much money. I spent too much money, and I'm afraid to count the receipts and look at my orders. I'm like, oh god, I spend too much every week on this. But nah, man, it's really that good. Like Korean fried chicken is so good. Like it's massively popular. Like there's a franchise literally almost in every corner in Korea. Like franchise of mom and pop shops everywhere.
So is it just like a Korean Colonel Sanders or whatever?
I
Because
mean, they do have
it's still KFC.
yeah, they still have a KFC actually here, but yeah, but with its own flavors. Like so, for those who don't know, actually African American soldiers during the Korean War taught Koreans how to fry chicken.
Word.
Yeah, so I think that's one aspect nobody really talks about. Yeah, so apparently African American soldiers during their time in Korea, they actually taught the Koreans how to fry chicken like Southern style.
Shit,
And I
I'm
think
gonna have to
during the
ask my
70s,
I'm gonna have
80s,
to
yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask
Go
my
ahead.
dad about that. I'm gonna have to ask my dad about that because he was in the Korean War.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how they got over here. And for many Koreans, especially when they get older, right? It's like when they have to retire or get pushed out of the company due to ageism here in Korea,
Mhm.
most of them end up opening a chicken restaurant or a cafe to support themselves.
Okay.
But it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for Koreans in terms of low barrier entry for Koreans to open up a chicken franchise, but it's uber competitive. So it's really hard for them to either break even. This is even before Corona happened, for them to break even or to make a profit. This is not that
Word.
easy.
Word. I mean, I am ignorant to the culture over there, and only from what I know is from movies and stuff or whatever. You
Yep.
talk about
Yeah,
how
don't worry.
they have that competitive nature and whatnot. It's like
They do.
street gangs and shit over the fried chicken and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like we gonna
No,
fight in the
even my
street.
kids, even my kids, like we're doing like a simple review game, right? they get uber competitive. Like it's like Squid Game type of like levels of
Oh
competitive. Like
shit.
guys, calm down. It's just a game.
Mm. I like
But yeah, go ahead.
so
Oh,
you was
by the
talking
way,
about
for those who don't know, they actually have a fried chicken and beer festival here in Korea, the Daegu
oh
Chimik Festival.
well shit. That sounds like if I made the move or whatever, that'd be the one that I want to go to.
And it's worth it. I'm telling you, man. At least when it started back up again, travel starts up again. I highly recommend everybody check out the Daegu Chimik fried. It's a fried week-long music festival with fried chicken and beer, and also
Word.
Korean street food.
Word.
And
So
also, it's right. Yeah, it's in the park, but it's also in the park. But across the street from the park is also a amusement park. So I think you got a child. You have a son, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's perfect for him. So you can go to the park in the morning, have fun in the amusement park. In the afternoon, go get some fried chicken.
Have you seen Spider-Man? The newest
Yes,
one.
I have. Day one, the first
Oh
day when
boy.
it came out.
What was the atmosphere like over that way? Because I mean, I know how it is here, but
Yeah, it was pretty popular. I think now I live in a small town, right? So
mhm.
I can't go to like the major theaters. So, but you can tell it was packed that day for the movie theater I went to. Like tickets were sold out. Like I thought I wouldn't be able to get one after work, but I managed to get one though. I had a great time, and I even thought about going back to rewatch it though.
Yeah, I've been on the fence about it. I mean, I know I want to, but it's almost
Yeah,
like a time thing or whatever. It's just like if I
mhm,
get home too late, then I go
yeah,
see the movie. It's like 2.5 hours, and I gotta come home, go sleep, get
right.
back up, go to work. So I'm gonna see it again, but I've already got on Amazon and I've already pre-ordered the Blu-ray, and they don't even have a release date for it yet. I just like here, take my
Wow.
money, just send it
Yeah,
whenever you get it.
yeah, exactly. I enjoyed it so much, especially again back on Exploer talk, I guess. When Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield actually showed up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, I heard the rumors, but I was like, I thought like, nah, this is probably just a cop out. They ain't gonna do this. But, oh my
Mhm.
god, they actually did it.
Yeah, and I was in the theater like, "Oh, shit." That's
Yeah,
exactly my words when I seen it. I was like, "Oh,
me too.
shit." And then,
Me too. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking, was it? Oh my god, Jimmy Fox. When he mentioned why isn't there a Black Spider-Man? I'm like, oh my god, they're actually gonna do it. He's gonna bring in
I
Miles.
I I hope so because, I mean,
I hope so too.
that's how subtle it was in the previous Spider-Man movie with the
Right,
multiverse conversation or
right,
whatever. Because Mysterio was talking about, there's multiverses, and Peter went all off on like, there's a multiverse, yada yada yada. And then we would
yeah,
get stuff like what if, and then all this stuff dealing with the multiverse and shit. So it's just
right.
like they'll subtly mention something, then they'll just have like big ramifications later on. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, Miles Morales.
Yes. No, I'm not gonna lie. I was really disappointed, like for the post-credit scene when Venom, like they all went back to their universe. I'm like, man, I was hoping they'd
Well,
stick around.
well, he kind of did stick around
And
though.
he did kind of, but it's like I was hoping for them to just stick around. Like I thought
Well,
they would actually be part of MCU.
Well, I don't want them.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, Tom Hardy can stay over on that
Yeah,
that that timeline or whatever. But if they left a little drop of the symbiote so that can attach to something else, make a whole nother Venom, and I'd rather see that than Tom
yeah,
Hardy
definitely.
because his Eddie Brock, and I know he's not American, so
Mhm.
he's a foreigner doing an American accent, and it just like it doesn't sound like it's weird to me, and it just
Yeah,
throws it all off of me. And then the second Venom film that they created wasn't as good as the first one, and the first one was just kind of like cool for what it was,
yeah.
but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm like, I was bored watching Venom the whole time. I was just watching it just to because the MCU thought maybe they'll do something with it.
Yeah,
And when I heard about the post credit scene for Venom 2, I'm like, okay, I'll just watch it just to watch it, the movie, just to say
yeah.
it real
The
quick.
whole movie was a setup for the end credit for the damn movie.
Exactly. I'm like, wow. I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch it in theaters. I'm like, damn, I'm really glad I didn't waste my money on this.
Yeah, I mean, do you find yourself bootlegging a lot of things being over that way?
Low-key, yes. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
still,
mean,
yeah, low-key. No, well, to be fair, like in terms of South Korea, they don't really have like, piracy laws over here. So it's not like something that they can actually, technically do something like if you're gonna bootleg something over here, like no what in US companies, they really can't do anything about it, really.
Well, shit. Well, that's a gangster's paradise then. Just
Exactly. Like
give me all the shit.
exactly. So if that's first, so I wouldn't be surprised if people bootlegging everything here. Because again, what are they gonna do? Like, because different laws, different country, different laws. It's like not much they can do unless they want to try.
Word. How often do you come home? I mean, where are you from in the States?
South Carolina. So the first and last time I've been back in the U.S., I went to visit my family in Alabama back in February 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so
South
that was the first.
Carolina.
Yeah, but that's the first
You know,
last time I've been back to to the U.S.
they tore down south of the border, right?
No, I did not. I didn't hear about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they tore it down. I was sad about that. I mean, I would pass it so much on trips going home or down to Georgia or something like that, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop there one day. Then I stopped there one day. I took my kids to the little Reptile House, and I just happened to look on the news the other day, and they said they're tearing it down. So big ass sombrero is going away. All the fireworks and all the reptile houses and the roller coasters, all them shits is gone.
I didn't hear about that.
Man,
Usually, like if I hear anything about the news, it's like when I wake up, trying to get ready for school. That's the only time I hear about what's happening back home.
I mean, do you miss anything about being here?
Honestly, not much. I mean, I do miss buying clothes. Be able to go clothes shopping because again, sorry. Yeah. So let me be clear. So in Korea, in many culture, in most Asian cultures, it's all about being looking slim and thin.
Yeah.
So being fat or obese is there's body shaming over here, but there's not a lot of clothes or places you can buy clothes for those who are in the big and tall category. I mean, there is, but like for example, there's a place in Seoul, place in Itaewon in Seoul, right? But that's like a 5-hour trip to buy clothes. I'm not going to do that.
Word. I can only
Yeah,
imagine. You said you 6'7", right?
yeah, exactly.
And oh man, so
Just
just
imagine you
the
have to
pants is
travel.
like this big.
Yeah. Just imagine traveling 4 or 5 hours just to go to Capital plus Metro just to go clothes shopping. That's my case right now. I'm not doing that. I just order my stuff from Amazon, have it shipped here. It's just so much easier.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. It was like I imagine you order a lot of stuff online and whatnot.
Yeah, I do. It's just much easier, especially electronics. So electronics are very expensive here. The PS5 was very expensive here. Like I want to say like the digital version, if you want exchange rate, I want to say it's about $470, I think. For that's the digital version.
Or shit.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than what you're gonna get it here in the States.
I think so. How much is it? Like the digital version? I forgot. In US.
Shit, $800.
Yeah, no, the same here. Like I actually bought mine over the summer. Like I had a Korean friend of mine. She came with me. We walked around. I went first to this Kuchik electric market in Seoul. They were sold out, so I tried another market. But she called the vendors and they said they had a plenty of stock, but they were a little bit like $200 more. In terms $100 more in terms of selling the PS5 at that market compared to, but like on the stores, like people are still, you got scalpers paying like $800, $900, $1,000 for that over here too.
Shit. Hey man,
I'm like, I'll take it.
How hard is it to get a graphics card over there?
I'm pretty sure it's hard now. Again, like I said, electronics are pretty expensive here, so I mean, there are companies. There's actually a foreigner guy who can build a PC, which I've been meaning to look into because I'm looking to get PC built sometime soon. But yeah, like I said, in general, like smartphones, especially smartphones, they're heavily expensive over here. Like, because all you get is Samsung, LG, or iPhone. Those are your only options, mainly in Korea.
Shit.
And it also doesn't help that, like, literally their heads, like, basically the country's economy is run on conglomerates like Samsung, LG, Hyundai. They're one of the few families who pretty much run the economy, all the markets, all the industries, really.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but
yeah.
I mean, what's the next chapter for the next book? I mean, you already
right
in the works
now
with that?
I'm actually gonna work my book number 3. I'm actually gonna write about the whole country, South Korea.
Okay.
There'll be basically a big, giant, thick book about travel guide for South Korea. I have no idea when it's going to come out because like I said, I looked at my list of places I'm going to visit. It's a lot, and also because of COVID, so that's going to
Oh
be a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah, true.
So I got, and plus I live in a small town, so traveling outside to like say going to the West Coast, like that for me, that would be like that's like a 7-8 hour trip just get to the West Coast from where I'm at.
Yeah, and that was another question that why you bringing up COVID and everything. I mean, I know the impact of it here in the States and, the protocols and all the things that were put into
Sure.
place and, how everything was going on. How was that for you over there?
Um, like everybody else, when we got shut down, everybody was bugged at home. The Korean government had bars, restaurants, doing all the shutdowns, right? But the churches, they still kept going, even though the government said, "Hey, you can't do this. You can't meet in person." But they didn't listen. And a lot of times throughout 2020 and 2021, most of the outbreaks came from the churches, from people
Ooh.
going to the churches. And unfortunately, like many places, many jobs, restaurants, shops, they've been closed permanently due to the pandemic, due to the shutdown periods. And now the Korean government has basically said we have vaccine mandates. Like you have to show like proof of vaccination, or
Mhm.
have like a QR code to show that you got vaccinated to enter certain restaurants or establishments.
Okay.
I did agree on that first, but now it's getting crazier to the point which even I got to criticize them for. It's like, okay, now I think the Korean government says you had to have third dose. They had to have the booster shot to go into an establishment. I'm not sure when that's supposed to start, when that requirement is supposed to start.
Okay.
But even I gotta admit that's kind of unfair because what are people who already got who got the first vaccine shots, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, haven't had a chance to get the booster because you gotta wait for that grace period.
Yeah, that is true.
So even I got criticized on that front. And now, true story. Back in early 2021, this is back in Seoul, like on the West Coast, like near the capital area. The Korean government, there was an outbreak in that area, and the Korean government ordered all non-Koreans, all foreigners, to go get tested. And one thing to know in Korea, right? Usually you'll see a lot of white people crying or playing, "Oh, this is racism, this is xenophobia," and all non-white folk were like, "Really? That sucks, huh?"
You don't
But
say, huh?
what? Being discriminated sucks because you color your skin? Who would have thought about that? No. But even I'll admit, I get why they wanted to do the testing, but the problem is how rushed they did it because there's only like a few locations where people go get tested, right?
Okay.
So imagine there's long lines for people standing hours because again, there's like limited location. It was too quickly. So even I
Right.
got to call them out on that front.
Word. Shit. So I mean, you've been there what about 6 years now, or whatever. How long you plan on staying?
Long as I can, man. Right now, I'm in a great position. I switched to back last year, March 2021. I switched to my current job, which I really love. I have a great time with the kids. I love the location too, in terms of cost of living and making money over here. So I might as well go ahead and stay here, right as long as I can, and
Mhm.
stack some money up, and also write more books.
Word. So I mean, question is, I mean, you plan on staying there for a while and whatnot. I mean, what
Yeah.
the social life, what the nightlife like out that way?
Social life pre-COVID days, man, especially downtown areas like where I used to live in Daegu, for example, like it'd be packed. People going to bars, restaurants, bar hopping. Uh, People just socialize and have a great time. Nowadays, I mean, people still do that though, but
Mhm.
limited numbers, locations, stuff, and limited times. But it was pretty fun. I can tell you this much. It was definitely worth it. It's one of the reasons that what people keep staying in Korea because they love that social aspect, the social life,
Mhm.
having a good time, especially those who like to go drinking. Uh, One spot that was popular, especially in Daegu, I used to go to a few times, a place called Go Go's. So
Mhm.
basically, just imagine like you pay about $2 to $7 for Capri Sun size type alcohol in a bag.
Word. Shit. I mean, that does sound, man, you made me kind of thirsty.
No, but yeah, South Korea is also a massive drinking culture too. So
Mhm.
it's not unheard of, especially before COVID, was people go to the convenience store, buy a bunch of beer. alcohol, snacks, and sit outside the store and just sit down and eat, drink, and talk all night.
That sounds pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah, you got the tables out there. People will sit down, just pour a couple of drinks, and just eat up and chill.
Word. I mean, I rarely see a sense of community like that here in the States.
Yeah. I would definitely say, at least depending on the city, of course, I find that smaller, medium-sized expat communities, they're more tight-knit, they're more close. Everybody kind of knows each other, they're cool with, versus like the largest cities because, it's so massive, like people have different spots and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I'll admit at times, like when I first, like looking back, especially, COVID gave me a chance to think. I kind of wish I was more social.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I am introverted. I do sometimes prefer to stay home on the weekends, but sometimes I kind of wish, like, you know what? I wish I went out a little bit more. I wish I stayed a little bit longer where I used to do the rec league ultimate frisbee. Like, I would stay, usually after games ended, I would just go home. Looking back, I'm like, okay, maybe I should have stayed a little bit longer and hang out with the guys,
Mm-hmm.
Got to know people.
Yeah, I can see that. There's been plenty of times to where, like, and then sometimes even when you do stay, you feel kind of awkward or whatever. You just kind of like, all right, I'm here. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's like I kind of wish I would have a little bit more of a balance, like social, stay at home type of balance, kind of like a middle ground.
Yeah. So whenever we went into lockdown the first time and everything, people were flipping out, talking about, I want to go out. I want to go do this. Yeah. I miss my friends. And I was in the house like, this is great.
Yeah, it was for me too for a while. But fortunately, like in 2020, in my other job, I ended up, I guess you could say, put on leave for like July 2020 up to February 2021. So pretty much I was stuck at home all day on a reduced salary, so I couldn't technically work. I was still under contract. I was still employed, thankfully. So I had that job security, but I wasn't able to teach. I wasn't able to do any type of work, So being stuck at home all day, waking up, playing games, watching movies all day, it does get repetitive and boring at the time. So
yeah, I can understand that. So I mean that would be the best and the opportune time to start writing things, right?
Yeah, that's why I got the idea for the first book. And I said, I got time off. Why not go do that? So I went all around the city, Incheon, where I was living at the time, and started taking pictures, writing down notes, and made a book about it.
Word. So I mean, wow. I don't. It's just like I don't know. It's just anybody that can do what you've done and everything. It amazes me because like I've entertained the idea of doing, just writing a book or whatever, but it's like it's real difficult to me. I'd rather do something like this, like what we're doing right now, or whatever. But I don't know. I'm just amazed. My wife wrote a book, and it amazed the fuck out of me that she had that skill within her to just create like that. I find it fascinating, amazing.
Yeah, I was surprised they actually did it too. I'm like, oh my god, actually 2 books.
Yeah,
and it's like, why not keep going? It's like right now, because one other reason I started writing these books because I remember I read this story. I think it's called from the Market Research Institute, and they said that African American tourism has the power to be about $6 billion, $7 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons I kind of, continue writing these books. I was like, yeah, you're right. Because one, I'm a business major by trade, by the way. So I realized, yeah, there's a huge market. More Black African Americans are traveling more than ever. And especially when countries start opening up again post-COVID, travel is gonna blow up huge hard. So I was like, okay, let me get these books out. Let people get know my name. And that way, eventually, I'll say, I know in the first start, when it comes to like book sales, right now, it's not gonna sell as much, but once people start traveling again, it's gonna blow up. Especially with Korea, especially with shows like Squid Games and the K-drama on Netflix, people are gonna try to come to Korea more than ever. So it's like, okay, let me get my name out there right now. While I have a chance to build, a repertoire, like reputation, and then once it's safe travel and people come start traveling again, it's like, bam, they got the books ready to go. I'm like, here, I got 2 books for Korea right here. Let's go.
Yeah, and I can just kind of see that, because I was able to do a little bit of traveling this year and last year and whatnot, and it's just, you want to guide and whatnot, and you're providing that, and I can just see something like what you've made, when people come over there, it could be somewhere in the airport somewhere. Somebody can just see this
Right.
thing on the shelf and be like, "Oh, I'm a black guy in a foreign country. Let me look at this
Right.
book."
Right. Nah, that's what I'm hoping to do. Like maybe somebody who listens to this know that yes, there is a black man who wrote a travel guide about travel for South Korea from a viewpoint of a black man.
Word.
That's my idea. I just want to hit every black person who likes to travel, who wants something like this. That's my aim. Like I believe personally with my content, if I can give this one black person to travel or get a passport, I call it a win more than anything.
Okay. So, with that being said, where can people find these two glorious books?
Sure. The Black Traveler's Guide to Incheon spelling Incheon, and the Black Traveler's Guide to Daegu, Daegu. You can find on my Amazon right now in ebook formats. You want to see more of my adventures or reach out to me, ask questions about Korea, hit me up on Instagram or TikTok at The Blerd Explorer.
Word. And it's on the screen if you're watching the video. And you've heard the freaking his Instagram tags. Give him a follow. You got a TikTok.
Yep, I got a TikTok too. Yes.
You doing some funny dances out there?
Nah, I ain't do no dances. Nah, I ain't doing
All right,
no
hold
of those.
on. I'm gonna go and I'm about to inspect it right now. We gonna do it live. Oh shit, my volume up. Turn it down. All right. The Blerd Explorer. This is riveting audio for some people. And of course I spelled it wrong because that's why I'm not writing any books, because I can't
Yep.
spell. All right, there we are. That's not you, that's somebody else. Is it all one word?
Yeah, it's all one word. Yes, The Blerd Explorer.
Okay, so that's why I'm fucking up. Aha! I found you. You are followed.
All right.
Word. Did that live on the air for everybody. But hey, man, I appreciate you giving me your time and everything and just chopping it up with your boy. And shit, man, if you ever find yourself back in the States, if you ever just so happen to come to Texas, maybe hell, even Louisiana, because I'm from Lake Charles and everything.
Okay.
You come hang out with your boy. We can find some American fried chicken.
Yeah. Nah. I'm definitely down. I know at least when states open, when states travel again, I'm definitely gonna come stateside eventually. I don't know when. I can't say when, but it's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit up probably some other podcasts too. I went on last year, so I'll definitely do that for sure.
Word. So you've been a guest of the Random Rounds with Rob podcast. The door is always open for you to come back to promote your next big thing or just to shoot the shit.
Likewise, if you ever need me to come on the show, man, just hit me up. I'll be down.
Word.